Jonathan, I don't know if we can hear from there, but let's listen to it. There's an exchange there. There you see the president and the First Lady Melania Trump with Governor Gavin Newsom. Let's listen to see if they make any comments here.
Hello, everybody. So we just left North Carolina a little while ago. We have that in very good shape. We have the congressman in charge and Michael Watley, and we're going to do a lot of work. We have the Army Corps of Engineers working as they are here. And I think you're going to see some very big progress. They left them high and dry. And now we're going to be taking a little tour with some of the people from the area. I appreciate the governor coming out and meeting me, Kevin. Thank you very much. And we'll be talking a little bit. We want to get it fixed. We want to get the problem fixed. And there'll be some ways, but it's like you got hit by a bomb, right?
Yeah.
Like you got hit by a bomb. Would you like to say something?
Most importantly, thank you for being here. It means a great deal to all of us, and not just the folks in Palisades, the folks in Altadena that were devastated. We're going to need your support. We're going to need your help. You were there for us during COVID. I don't forget that. And I have all the expectations that we'll be able to work together to get this speedy recovery.
We will. We're going to get it done. Tremendous numbers of lives have been affected. A lot of real estate's been affected. Nobody's ever probably seen anything like this. You can almost say since the Second World War, when you think of it. I mean, nothing like this has happened. And we're going to get it fixed, so we'll get it permanently fixed, so it can't happen again. And again, we'll be talking a little bit later, and we'll get it worked out, okay?
I appreciate it, Mr. President.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Both of you have disagreed a lot over the past week over what has happened in this state. How do you plan to
We got to
put your
get it
differences
finished.
aside?
We're looking to get something completed. And the way you get it completed is to work together. It's the governor of the state. And we're going to get it completed. They're going to need a lot of federal help. Unless you don't need any, which should be okay.
We're going to need a lot of federal help.
So we're going to take care of things. Okay?
I have all the confidence in the world we'll work that out.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I guess some of you are coming with us, and some of you not. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll see you. Unfortunately, it's a very sad period, but what makes you feel good is I met so many of the homeowners, and every one of them, a lot of them, and every one of them said to me they want to rebuild. I said, will you go elsewhere? No, 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 no. It wasn't even like a question. They love the area. They love the people. It's like a family. It's incredible, actually, when you see some things like that. We just left North Carolina, and we had just a similar type of disaster. It was water instead of fire, but boy, that water did damage like I've never seen before. And then you come here and you see this. But the people are so amazing, and your fire department was so beautiful. Every one of them is in perfect physical shape. I said, what do you guys do? They have very high standards, I can tell you. And we took pictures with all of them, but very nicely they gave us a little helmet. And I said, you wear this, huh? Is this real? And they said, yeah. I said, it's awfully heavy. You have to be very strong to wear that. But that's the original, right? So it's pretty good. But I just want to thank everybody. We're going to be with you. Your governor met us at the plane, and we had a good talk, very, very positive talk. We have to work together to get this really worked out. I don't think you can realize how rough it is, how devastating it is until you see it. I didn't realize. I mean, I saw a lot of bad things on television, but the extent of it, the size of it, we flew over it in a helicopter. We flew to a few of the areas, and It is devastation. It's incredible. It's really an incineration. Even some of the chimneys came down, okay? When you have the chimneys come down, you know that's pretty hot stuff, and a lot of them were down. That was a bad sign, too. But I just want to commiserate, and we're going to celebrate. We'll be back to celebrate one day soon, I hope soon. The federal government standing behind you, 100%. The First Lady and I are in California to express a great love for the people of California. I've had great support always in California. We did very well recently, as you know, relatively speaking, at least I can say. 6 months is no good.
And the number one thing that we are going to do immediately, and you will see this happen, is to clear out the debris. And you know, we're concerned right now over the weekend because of the potential rain, but we are going to move as fast as we can, but we want you to be safe. And we want you to be back in your homes immediately.
But the people are willing to clean out their own debris. It doesn't
Yes,
cost a
and
lot.
they can.
You
And
should
they are
let them
able
do
to-
it, because
No,
by the
they
time you
can do
hire
that.
contractors, it's going to
Right.
be 2 years.
If a family...
People are willing to get a dumpster and do it themselves and clean it out.
And they can
There's
do
not that much left. It's all incinerated.
That's right.
And, you know, it's just going to take a long time if you do. You can do some of it, but a lot of these people, I know that guy right there that's talking. I know my people. You'll be on that thing tonight, throwing the stuff away, and your site it'll look perfect within 24 hours, and that's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to wait around for 7 months till the city hires some demolition contract
If
that's going to
individuals
charge him
want to build-
$25,000 to do his lot.
Yeah.
I think you have emergency powers just like I do, and I'm exercising my emergency powers. You have to exercise them also.
I did exercise them.
Because I looked,
signed
I
an
mean, you have a
emergency
very powerful
declaration.
emergency power, and you
Yes.
can do everything within 24 hours.
Yes. And if individuals want to clear out their property, they can. Well, yes, but you know that you will be able to go back soon.
Mr. President.
We think within a week.
That's a long time, a week. I'll be honest. To me, everyone's standing in front of their house. They want to go to work, and they're not allowed to do it.
And the most
a
important
week
thing
is
is
a
for
long
people to
time.
be safe.
They're safe. They're safe. You know what? They're not safe. They're not safe now. They're going to be much safer. A week is actually a long time, the way I look at it. I watched hundreds of people standing in front of their lots, and they're not allowed to go in. It's all burned. It's gone. It's done. Nothing's going to happen to it. It's not going to burn anymore. There's nothing to burn. There's almost nothing to burn. And they want to go in. The people are all over the place. They're standing, and I say, why aren't you going in? We're trying to get a permit, and the permit's going to take them. Everybody said 18 months. You said 18 months. You said 18 months.
Last night.
And that was last night.
On that. Right.
Mr. President, we're going to be together next week, and during the interim, many of us are involved in, and Tom McClintock, who you know has been an expert on this for years,
That's right.
we are going to be putting conditions on the money that do two things: require that it be done timely and affordable, and then secondly, that we protect those who will come afterwards. As we speak, there are 6,000 acres burning in my district on the Mexican border. There will be more fires until we include in any disaster relief items which will prevent it or at least mitigate it from happening again. So you're going to see us proposing both of those.
Like water. Little
We're
things
gonna
like
do
water.
that for them.
You know, the party of common sense. See, we're the party of common sense. You're not, in all fairness.
Yes, sir.
We like water to put out fires. It's really quite efficient. All right.
Thank you,
Sure.
Mr. President.
Mr. President, I'm Jay Obernolte. My district is just a bit east of here.
Yep.
And you were talking about the need to better manage our forests and our wildlands to prevent this from happening again. And you were so right about that. Just last year, a couple months ago in October, they put out a fire. The line fire in my district was over twice as big as the Palisades fire. And they put it out less than a mile from my house in an area where we had done thinning, and they stopped the fire, Mr. President, on a fire break that we had built a couple of years ago.
That's right.
We have an area just on the other side of my community that hasn't been thinned in decades because it's being held up by a lawsuit from an environmental group that says we're going to reduce habitat. Mr. President, we need to, in addition to getting resources and boots on the ground to do this treatment, we need to reform our legal system to prevent these lawsuits from tying up these projects for years and years and years. And not to say that the merit shouldn't be heard, but we need to hear them and we need to move on, resolve them.
Is this a state group, state or federal group?
This is a local group, actually, Mr. President, but they have help from the state.
They
and
use the
federal.
environment to make themselves feel good, and they're destroying our country. And you've got to, at some point, you've got to put your foot down. I know exactly what you're talking. You have local and state groups, and you have federal groups too. And you got to fight them the right way, because you'll never, even if the mayor gives, you're going to have a local group come in and sue. You're not allowed to go on your property. They're going to talk about asbestos and every other thing. They want to go on their property and they want to clean out their property. And you cannot let anything get in their way. And you'll have this place built up quickly, beautiful. It'll be more beautiful than before. And I would do one other thing. I'd give them a 10%, 15% bonus on their house because they went through hell. And they should be allowed to build a little bit, give them a little bit lot line bonus, give them a bonus on size, maybe a little bonus on height. They went through hell. You know, some of them had houses where they were restricted. They have to have an 8-foot ceiling. You let them have a 10-foot ceiling. Let them build a nice house, a nicer house than they had before. But I would give them a 10 or a 15% bonus on their plans. And I think it would be very well received because they'll be able to build a little bit nicer house. Do you like that idea, by the way? They deserve it. Because you know what? It's not their fault that this fire took place. This fire took place, could have been stopped. It's not their fault. It's not the homeowner's fault. And I think they should be entitled to a bonus on their house.
Okay, so Governor Gavin Newsom with President Trump there and the First Lady, and talking about cooperation, talking about federal help, talking about working together. I want to bring in our panel early. Kimberly Strassel, member of the editorial board at the Wall Street Journal, Josh Kraushaar, Fox News Radio political analyst, Leslie Marshall, Democratic strategist. Also bring in Peter Doocy from the White House, the North Lawn. An amazing picture there as President Trump and Governor Newsom walk towards Marine One to begin this tour. Kimberly, first to you. That's a message of unity and working together. Obviously, they've talked at each other for a long time. They hadn't talked in person since 2020, but disasters and devastation bring politicians together, and it looks like this has.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, that was very good to see. It was a little awkward with him standing there. It sounds as though the Trump team was not expecting this to happen. So what you just saw there seemed pretty impromptu. And that was the right way to approach it. Now, I have to imagine as they go into private conversation, some of those things that did not just come up publicly will come up about water issues, also, you know, whether or not certain conditions might be attached to any aid that comes out. Those are the more complex questions yet to be sorted through.
Leslie, you live out there. You were affected directly. You know a lot of people who have been affected directly. Your thoughts on that scene and what we just heard?
Well, I have to say that fire is nonpartisan, and so is every disaster. And when you see, you know, the president is not only commander-in-chief, but a president needs to be the consoler-in-chief. And I say that I'm a liberal Democrat. I am glad he is here to see with his own eyes the devastation. And I think every president, Democrat or Republican, should go when you have devastation on this level. Over 17,000 people are out of their homes, including me. And I have to say that I've seen my governor work with President Trump when he was former President Trump, and I certainly hope that they'll put politics aside. I hope that he will have his humanity and compassion rise and see that those of us that are suffering, and people suffering far worse than my family out here, and they don't want conditions attached. They don't want politics attached to that. They just want help to either get back into their homes or on with their lives.
Yeah, Peter Doocy from the North Lawn. That was the message, though. It sounded like that they were going to work together, despite all the things that have been said up until this moment. As he gets off that plane and meets the governor at the bottom, obviously he talked about North Carolina and his visit there today, but the message is here, let's figure out how to get this done.
Yes, and Gavin Newsom has gone in the last 2 months from, for all intents and purposes, trying to Trump-proof his state, trying to put administrative measures in place to prevent Donald Trump from undoing certain liberal priorities in California, to getting very, very bad reviews for his handling of these fires in Southern California. And Gavin Newsom is a smart guy. He knows that to improve his own position and to improve the lives of the people who've been affected by this fire, he can't just be dug in against Donald Trump. He was going to have to work with him all along. Although last night I was in touch with the governor's office, and they said they were happy that the president accepted their invitation to California before he was sworn in, but they were not tracking any kind of an official meeting. Obviously, if Gavin Newsom was able to get that close, the Secret Service phoned somebody on the plane. The president was probably watching us, and he could see that he was just standing there at the bottom of the stairs by himself. So yeah. I don't think it was an ambush by any means, but it's a savvy move by a governor who's been in office for 12 years. He knows how these things go. He was always going to have to work it out with President Trump. I'd be fascinated to know what's going on with their private conversation right now, if it's in the helicopter or the SUV. And the great thing about the last few days, President Trump has revealed he'll just tell us what they were talking about.
Exactly. I mean, he has taken, I'm going to get Josh in here real quick, he has taken more questions in the last few days after his inauguration than we saw from President Biden in months and months and months. Josh, your comment here as we see another look at this moment. They obviously exchanged something there at the bottom of the stairs as well.
It's a remarkable scene. These are two of the biggest political enemies, and they've been calling, both of them have been calling each other names. But look, they have a mutual interest in getting California rebuilt, and this is going to be one of the big priorities in the first few months of the Trump administration, and he's going to have to work with Governor Newsom. I do think it also is notable that Donald Trump's political comeback last year was really reinvigorated when he went to another disaster scene in Ohio, in East Palestine, and really connected with people who were affected by, in that state, a train derailment, and connected with the people and connected with the local officials in a way that the Biden administration didn't do an effective job of. This is a moment for Donald Trump to show he can handle the natural disaster recoveries, not just in getting the money and not just in figuring out a way to get things rebuilt, but also working with the local Democratic officials.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.